अस्तु सप्ततितः श्लोकतः श्लोकानां परिचयं चर्चां च अनुवर्तयामहे। मृणालीमृद्वीनां तव भुजलतानां चतसृणां चतुर्भिः सौन्दर्यं सरसिजभवस्तौति वदनैः नखेभ्यः सन्त्रस्यन् प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां सममभयहस्तार्पणधिया मृणालीमृद्वीनां तव भुजलतानां चतसृणां चतुर्भिः सौन्दर्यं सरसिजभवस्तौति वदनैः नखेभ्यः सन्त्रस्यन् प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां सममभयहस्तार्पणधिया। एतावत्पर्यन्तं वयं देव्याः ग्रीवायाः वर्णनं श्रुतवन्तः, चर्चितवन्तः च। तस्याः गले अर्थात तस्याः कंठे तिस्रः रेखाः सन्ति। There are three lines which have temporarily set onto her body. किमर्थं तत् विवाह व्यानद्ध प्रगुण गुण, because of the Mangalya Sutra tied across her neck, across her shoulders by Shiva. The three lines have appeared there, which represent Gati, Gamaka, and Gita. That is the pace of singing. Gamaka is the intonations, and Gita are the lyrics. So these three lines of the Devi, te Gati, Gamaka, Gitanam upamanam vahanti. तथा एव विराजन्ते नानाविधं मधुररागाकरभुवां त्रयाणां ग्रामाणां स्थितिनियमसीमान इव ते। तथा एव ताः तिस्रः रेखाः साम इत्यादि गानेषु विद्यमानानां नियमानां द्योतकानि अपि भवन्ति इति। स्थिति नियम सीमाना. So these are, you could see them to be antagonistic to Gati, Gamaka, Gita. Gati is the pace. So the Viruddha pada of Gati is Sthiti. Gamaka is to sing in an unhinged manner, in an unbridled, free singing is Gamaka, whereas Niyama is disciplined Swarayukta singing. And Gita is the lyrics of the song, whereas Sima is the cessation of, or the boundary, so to speak, of the poem or of a certain composition, which means Gita represents the Shabda, whereas Sima represents the silence. So, not only are the three rekhas on her shoulder representing the Gati, Gamaka, and Gita, because she is an expert of all these three, Gati, Gamaka, Gitaika Nipune, तथा एव तस्याः कण्ठः, तस्याः ग्रीवा आकर भूः अस्ति. It is the factory, आकर भूः. It is the place of origin of नानाविध मधुर रागा. The many different kinds of sweet melodies they emerge from the throat of Lalita Tripura Sundari, and those three lines they also represent therefore the complementary concepts of Gati, Gamaka, Gita, which is Sthiti, Niyama, and Sima. So far we have seen all these discussions. Continuing forward, we have seen that each of the single organ of Lalita Mahatripura Sundari is being described in great detail along with some upamana upameyas. So after looking, okay, let's look at the picture of Lalita Mahatripura Sundari. So we have so far come traversed all along the length of her body from the Kirita, the Chandra, the Lalata, and now we have stopped at the three lines on her shoulders. Therefore, we'll be now proceeding to describe the four arms of the Devi. Let's look at it. तस्याः चतस्रणां भुजलतानां सौन्दर्यं सरसिज भवः अर्थात ब्रह्मा प्रजापतिः ब्रह्मा चतुर्भिः वदनैः स्तौति. देव्याः चतस्रणां भुजलतानां, the bhujas that she has, the four bhujas she has, they are latas. They are very slender, climbers, creepers, you could say, which are mrinali mridvinam. They are as soft, tender as mrinala. Mrinala is the stalk of a lotus is called mrinala. And because her arms, represent the stalk of a lotus, we can then also infer that her fingers and palm itself is the representation of the lotus itself. So this is the stalk and this is the flower. Pushpam mrinalam. तथा तस्याः चत्वारः भुजाः सन्ति. एतेषां भुजानां वर्णनं कर्तुं प्रजापतिः ब्रह्मा सरसिज भवः, one who was born from the lotus is called Sarasija Bhava. Saha, he uses all the four of his faces to start praising. Meaning, he needs to use the intellectual and creative power of all the four faces of his to describe the Soundarya of hers. Nakhebhyah santrasyan prathama mathanad andhakaripoh चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां सममभयहस्तार्पणधिया. सः केवलं स्तवनं न करोति, सः नखेभ्यः संत्रस्यन्, he is afraid, he is getting afraid of the nails. नखेभ्यः संत्रस्यन् प्रथममथनात् अंधकरिपोः नखेभ्यः प्रथममथनात् संत्रस्यन् चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां समम् अभयहस्त अर्पणधिया स्तौति. So there is a certain purpose to why he is praising Lalita with all the four of his heads. Kimartham dhiya, with the intention of Abhayahastarpanadhiya. He has to take refuge of Lalita Devi's, the four arms of Lalita. So he wants to place his four heads, Chaturnam, Shirshanam, at respectively the four palms of Lalita, which are all in Abhaya Mudra towards him. They are all comforting him. They are all offering solace by saying, I am there, do not worry. Abhaya hasta arpanadhiya. So he wants to offer all the four of his heads to Lalita. Why? He is santrasyan. He is afraid of what? Prathama mathanat. With his first encounter, Prathama mathanat andhaka ripoho. Andhaka ripuhu kaha? Andhakasya shatruhu. Andhakasurasya shatruhu kaha? Saha Shivaha eva. शिवस्य ब्रह्मणः च युद्धं कदाचित् प्रवर्तितं. तत्र प्रजापतेः ब्रह्मणः एकं शिरः छिन्नं, शिवेन छिन्नम् आसीत्. अतः इदानीं पुनः पुनः शिवस्य नखेभ्यः भीतिरस्ति. The Prajapati Brahma fears the nails of Shiva because Shiva used the nail of his own nails to just slay one of the heads and slaughter one of the heads of Brahma. and behead him. So to make sure that there is another force which will offer him nirbhiti of Abhaya, which is Lalita herself, because she is the mother, right? When Shiva is angry, who do we take refuge under? We have to take refuge under Parvati, under Shakti. So similarly, our Brahma also is very afraid, looking at the nails of Lalita, which he perceives, which brings to his mind the recollection of his first encounter with Shiva, who, using his own nails, had just ripped off one of his heads. Therefore, he wishes to uh, do stava, praise, and offer an eulogy to Lalita and describe her four arms so that she may be pleased and place all her four palms of Abhaya Mudra on the four of his heads. This is the Varnanam. Chaturnam Shirshanam Samam Abhayahasta Arpana Dhiya. Avagatam Kim, would anybody like to pitch in and offer your different interpretation of it? Okay, then let's quickly see if we can find a Google image of Brahma and Lalita Purasundari. Now, in the generation of Gen I think we should be able to find at least one. If not, we can create one such image ourselves too. It will be a nice exercise for all the viewers and the sahasadhakas of our class here. If they can use AI to generate some pictures of this very episode, this very imagery, and maybe share it in the group. अस्तु. उषार्ये कृपया गायतु.
Ah, this is 71, right?
70.
Okay. Nodali mrudvinam tava bhuja latanam chatusrunam chaturbihi saundaryam sarasija bhavaha stauti vadanaihi nakebhyaha santrasyan pratama matana dandhakararipo. How to break this word?
प्रथम मथनात् अंधकरिपोः.
प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां समभय हस्तार्पणधिया.
समम अभय हस्तार्पणधिया.
समम अभय हस्तार्पणधिया. धन्यवाद.
नखानामुद्योतैर्नवनलिनरागं विहसतां कराणां ते कान्तिं कथय कथयामः कथमुमे कयाचिद्वा साम्यं भजतु कलया हन्तकमलं यदि क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी चरणतललाक्षारसचणम्. नखानामुद्योतैर्नवनलिनरागं विहसतां कराणां ते कान्तिं कथय कथयामः कथमुमे कयाचिद्वा साम्यं भजतु कलया हन्तकमलं यदि क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी चरणतललाक्षारसचणम्. नखानाम् उद्योतैः. इदानीं देव्याः चतस्रः भुजाः वर्णिताः. चतस्रः चत्वारः भुजाः वर्णिताः. अधुना तस्याः हस्ते विद्यमानानां नखानाम् of the nails नखानां वर्णनम् अस्ति किम् नखानाम् उद्योतैः those nails which are resplendent they are shining udyotaihi they are so white and transparent they are shining nava nalina ragam vihasatam they are mocking vihasata means to mock they are mocking the beauty raga of nava nalina of a freshly bloomed lotus nava nalina ragam vihasatam if you look let's look at some budding uh, lotuses. You see, so if when she has folded her five fingers, it may look like a bud of lotus. So these pointed edges of the petals are like her nails. Nakhanam udyotaihi nava nalina ragam vihasatam karanam and her hands te tava अर्थात देव्याः कांतिम कथम कथयामः how can we even describe such uh, unparalleled beauty of both your palms as well as your nails? Ume kathaya, hey Ume, O Parvati, you tell me how we must start describing the kanti, the beauty of your own arms. Only you must tell us how we have to what we must actually compare the beauty of your arms, palms, and nails to. Kayachidva samyam bhajatu. You tell us with what shall we compare? Samyam arthat kena saha upamanam karaniyam. With what shall we compare? Bhajatu kalaya hanta kamalam यदि क्रीडत लक्ष्मी चरण तल लाक्षारसचणम कमलम कलया भजतु इति. So what is happening here is with what shall we then compare your your palm to is the question. Kalaya by creativity. Hanta ayo his hanta is like ayo alas hanta because yadi kamalam क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी चरणतल अक्षारस क्षणम कमलम यदि so Lakshmi hi asti there is Lakshmi she is playing क्रीडल Lakshmi and because of the dancing and the playing of Lakshmi also wears the mehendi on her legs so on the legs of Lakshmi of the sporting Lakshmi uh, on the lower side of her feet there is laksha there is the mehendi and it is still very wet. She is like a, you could say an adolescent who has just put on the mehendi, and because she could not resist herself from playing and sporting in the by looking at the beauty of her own arms, of Parvati's arms. So she is dancing and she is playing, because of which the still wet mehendi from the lower side of her feet they are spraying and sprinkling around the Kamala on which she is dancing. Who? Lakshmi. Because Lakshmi is always called as Padmaja, Padmanayana, Padma Samudbhava, and so on. So on the lotuses that she is sitting on, which her seat is, she has sprayed all the mehendi across, thus giving the entire Kamala, the already pink Kamala, a greater hue of reddish orange. Chanam. Now, should we then compare the beauty? So, this is also somehow beautiful. This Kamala itself has been anointed by the goddess of beauty, which is Lakshmi herself, sporting and in her ecstasy, spraying the mehendi all across her seat. Yadi, if this is the case, such a Kamala is that deserving of being your Upama? Should I then compare is such a Kamala, such a divine, purified Kamala alone the only available Upama for me to compare the beauty of your arms and your Nakha with? Kashchana abhipretumicchati kim? Okay, so we have
I could able to generate one picture
um,
for the previous
oh, sadhu, sadhu, tarhi
for
preshayatu.
direction. Like I didn't flash that ChatGPT can be used for one some small work earlier. So can I share the screen? I don't have that capability.
Yes, yes. Let me. How do I enable this? Okay.
Permission is you have to grant the permission. Options, the dot is there, right?
इदानीं कर्तुं शक्यते किम्?
In the sense, shall I share that to your WhatsApp? Yeah, I'll take the screenshot and share it in the WhatsApp.
न इदानीं स्क्रीन् कर्तुं शक्यते इति मन्ये.
Option nasti.
Oh, इदानीं मया कृतं.
Now I can. Okay, ChatGPT only that window. Yeah. Of course, it didn't just work it properly.
Wow, uttamam, sadhu.
But first question, when I said Lalita Devi with Brahma with forehead, it generated like this.
Oh, astu.
Yeah, that's why it is artificial intelligence. It cannot understand. So then later on it came here, but it is not with the four hands. Okay, I'll have to just generate with the Lalita Devi with four hands. Okay.
The four heads of Brahma bowing before the four hands of Lalita, something like that maybe.
With four hands. This is what is this one, no? So for each head, Brahmaji wanted to secure his four heads with that four hands.
Satyam.
So yeah, so I'm just generating. I'll share that in the group also, so that.
Ati Samichinam. Thank you so much for this initiative. Yes.
The direction. The first is direction. The idea. So dhanyawad for that. Using the technology for required this one. I think it will take 2 to 3 minutes. So
okay.
Shall I stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, once it is done, Kripaya Vadatu, then you can share the screen.
Okay. I'm stopping.
You can create a, if you can, please, Sarjayattu, you can create a picture for the next verse also.
This, I am not upgraded, so only 6 images are available for generation. So that now 3 are already used. I'll anyway enroll for upgrade, and then probably I'll be doing. Yeah. Only thing is, please give the word right. So context, and then I'll start generating it. Okay. Okay.
For the next imagery, you can put a prompt such as Lakshmi sporting with mehendi on her feet on a lotus, something like that. That would be the upamana that he is trying to compare. The Kararavinda, as they say, the lotus-like arms of Devi is being compared to the Kamala, which has sprayed mehendi on it because of Lakshmi Devi herself dancing and strutting in joy. That is the overall description of this verse. Darshana Arya asks, do you have to pay for this?
Okay.
No, please do not pay for any. I mean, this is, please, whatever version you are currently using, that is sufficient. Even if it is not, I think the next day it may get refreshed. So you can generate these images the next day, I think.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, sure. But It starts with the forehand. No, four hands. He didn't understand four hands. Okay. I'll just note it down one after the other.
Samichinam.
Maybe
Okay,
watch
sorry.
4 arms.
Okay, puja. Four hands, it didn't understand.
It is quite stupid in some senses because it understood four hands to mean the two of Devis and the two of Brahmas.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, it cannot understand. Okay, they are using a mathematical this one. Okay, it is applying four arms.
Yeah.
Two of Brahma, two of Lalita Devi. It didn't
But you should
understand
say-
that,
You should
Yeah,
say
please.
4 arms of the Devi.
Hmm.
Okay.
No, but I think she has already started the creation of images, so it will.
We
It's
can do
it's like the wishes of genie. Only three wishes. So.
Oh yeah. Of course, this is developed by a human being praying to four armed Lalita Devi. Let's see. Yeah, both are getting generated. Okay. Just using a traditional Lalita Devi. Okay.
अस्तु
Yeah.
यदा समाप्यते
stop
तदा
here.
वदतु आम् समीचीनम्
I think you can take control.
सम्यक् सम्यक् दृश्यते खलु स्क्रीन् समं देवि स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगं तवेदं नः खेदं हरतु सततं प्रस्नुतमुखम् यदालोक्याशङ्काकुलितहृदयो हासजनकः स्वकुम्भौ हेरम्बः परिमृशति हस्तेन झटिति समं देवि स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगं तवेदं नः खेदं हरतु सततं प्रस्नुतमुखम् यदालोक्याशङ्काकुलितहृदयो हासजनकः स्वकुम्भौ हेरम्बः परिमृशति हस्तेन झटिति हे देवी
तत्र टङ्कनस्य दोषः अस्ति किं झटिति झटिति
झटिति इति भवेत् झटिति समं स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगं समं तव इदं सततं प्रस्नुतमुखं नः खेदं हरतु हे देवी now moving on from the arms is the description of her bosoms her breasts हे देवी तव इदं प्रस्नुतमुखं सततं stanayugam the two breasts of yours which is skanda dipavadana pitam from which has nourished both skanda that is kartikeya or subramanya and dvipavadana that is gajavadana dvipa means gajavadana is ganesha of course skanda dvipavadana pitam the breasts which nourished two powerful gods themselves, such as Kumara and Ganesha, are your breasts, and that which is Satatam Prasnuta Mukham, it is continuously oozing Amrita. Prasnuta Mukham, it is oozing Amrita or milk, Satatam, and with that immortality, may Naha Khedam Haratu. May our kheda, may all our depressions, all our anxieties, may all our problems and suffering be Haratu literally means stolen away, but it means may it all be dissolved, may it all be, may we be alleviated from our struggles. Of course, this is a very literal meaning of the words. Of course, Devi represents that tattva, that Amrita tattva, from which Amrita is oozing. It means the tattva itself, being in that tattva, in contemplation of the tattva itself, is a taste of that immortality. So may we be elevated from our suffering by drinking from such Amrita, that Amrita which was sufficient enough to create two gods of their own nature in their own right. Skanda Dvipavadana Pitam. Yada Alokya Ashanka Kulita Hridayaha Hasajanakaha Swakumbhau Herambhaha Hastena Jhatiti Parimrishati. Yet Alokya, looking at the two breasts of yours, O Devi, Ashanka Kulita Hridayaha Hasajanakaha Herambhaha Swakumbhau Hastena Jhatiti Parimrishati. What does this mean? So now you can imagine Devi holding Ganesha in her arms. So he's still a very small kid, let's say 2 or 3 years old. He was drinking from, he was being fed by Devi. And then, so suddenly, he noticed that the breasts of Devi, of his mother, are very similar to his own head. If you look at an elephant, the temples of the elephant. So, elephant, Kumbhau, head. Okay, these images are not be that clear. But you should imagine there to be two bumps on the head of Ganesha, on the head of the elephant, with bumps, with two bumps. I think this is a feature of only Indian elephants. Nothing is as clear as to Chintayatu Kalpayatam. Tatra Dvau Kumbhau Bhavataha. There are two bumps on the head of the elephant. Okay, this might be better. These are the two bumps on the head of the elephant. एषः गणेशः यः गजाननः अस्ति सः मातुः स्तनौ दृष्ट्वा चिन्तयति यत् अरे मम शिरसः उपरि अपि एतौ स्तनौ स्तः तर्हि अहं तेन स्तनेन एव पिबामि इति. He is still a kid, you know how kids are, they can be quite irrational. He thinks, oh, what if I want to always drink the milk of the mother, she'll be busy. Ataha, so there is a stana already on my head. So let me, squeeze it and drink all the milk I have from my own head. He wants to be self-sufficient, Atmanirbhara. So, and he goes to press his own head, his own forehead. Parimrishati. He is squeezing it, but nothing comes. And then everybody around looking at this situation, this episode is Hasa Janakaha. They're all bursting into peals of laughter. Yat alokya ashanka is doubt. He doubts. His heart is clouded by doubt. Akulita hridayah. His heart is has a shanka that what if the milk gets over from the mother? So then I have to start relying on charging myself using my own batteries. So ashanka akulita hridayah herambha arthat Ganeshah. Hastena, with his hands, he is pressing Jhatiti. Quickly, he is just checking if even his Swakumbha are like the stanas which may give milk. Swakumbhau herambah parimrishati hastena Jhatiti. This is also one very beautiful prompt that we can always try. Of course, tomorrow we can try. I'll also try from my end. This very vivid imagery Adi Shankaracharya is creating. Sometimes also incorporating some Hasya Rasa, sometimes Veera Rasa, keeping us entertained. At the same time, why is all these verses keeping us so entertained with so many imageries and so many descriptions? Is again to keep our mind focused on some vishaya of Devi, right? It is to keep the mind sattvic and connected in some form or the other, whether saguna, nirguna, whatever, with the Devi itself. यदि कश्चन प्रश्नः संशयः अभिप्रायः वा अस्ति प्रकट्यताम्. Lalita Devi with Ganesha. This is actually a different form of Ganesha called as Uchishta Ganapati. It's actually a tantric form where he is holding his wife. It's not Tripura Sundari though. It's a very tantric, very powerful form, which was legend has that this Uchishta Ganapati form was invoked during the times of invasion by a particular yogi. I forget the name and the exact incident. So he is actually a war god, a very tantric god. Of course, with all tantras, the disclaimer is that it's a weapon. It's a weapon of power and energy. So one must handle it with care. Ganesha infant. We would have seen Skandamata depiction during the Navaratri, right? Where she is holding Kartikeya. This particular verse is describing Lalita with Ganesha on her breasts. This is the Bala. She is sitting with Bala. Maybe I didn't find the exact image. This one is quite relevant. अस्तु. यदि कश्चन अभिप्रायः, anybody wants to input their insights? अस्तु. उषार्ये तत् चित्रं सृष्टं किम्?
No, it didn't generate it. It's making like 3 arms. Then if I make it as a 4 arms, it is making it as a 3 arms. It's like making all
Okay. अस्तु.
kind of nonsense, I can say with one word.
Yeah.
It is taking a combination of the total count of 2 individuals.
अस्तु.
So sometimes it is missing 1 arm. It's only 3 arm, which is very
it is like it is the Heramba of today's times. It is quite infantile in its knowledge. It's thinking 4 means 2 plus 2.
Yes, this is what yeah.
Krupaya,
I'm trying. I just enrolled into upgraded my this one. Probably this upgraded version, I might get a better one. I'm trying simultaneously while listening to the session.
अस्तु सम्यक्. किन्तु एतदर्थमेव कृपया अधिकं सब्स्क्रिप्शन मा ददातु. It is not necessary. Well, if it is only for this purpose.
No, I also read for my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
अमूते वक्षोजाव अमृतरसमाणिक्यकुतुपौ न सन्देहस्पन्दो नगपतिपताके मनसि नः पिबन्तौ तौ यस्माद् अविदितवधूसङ्गरसिकौ कुमारावद्यापि द्विरदवदनक्रौञ्चदलनौ अमूते वक्षोजावमृतरसमाणिक्यकुतुपौ न सन्देहस्पन्दो नगपतिपताके मनसि नः पिबन्तौ तौ यस्मात् अविदितवधूसङ्गरसिकौ कुमारावद्यापि द्विरदवदनक्रौञ्चदलनौ. This is also one of the Hasya Rasa Yukta slokas, where he is describing, Hey Devi, Amute Vakshojav, the two breasts of yours, it's called Vakshojaha. That which is born on the chest is called Vakshojaha, which are the breasts. Amute Vakshojav, Amrita Rasa Manikya Kutupau. These breasts are Amrita Rasa Manikya Kutupau. They are like the vessels, containers. Kutupa is a container of which is made up of manikya, of emerald, and which contains the rasa of amrita itself, of immortality. Na sandeha spandaha. There is not even a flicker of doubt, not even an iota of doubt. Na sandeha spandaha. Naha manasi, in our minds. Hey Nagapati Patake. Nagapati is, what is Naga? Anybody knows what is Naga? Naga iti shabdasya arthah kaha?
Is it snake?
No. Naga is na gacchati iti naga, that which does not move. It is a word used to denote a mountain. Naga. Nagapati is the king of the mountains, which is
Himalaya.
Himalaya.
Himawat.
Correct. Himalayasya patake. Pataka means she who is the flag. Supposedly the she is like the flagship of the Himalayas. She is the flag bearer. She is the summit. She is the culmination of all the tapasyas of the Nagas, of all the mountains, to have produced such a goddess in their clan. So Nagapati Patake, He Ume, Manasinaha, Na Sandeha Spandaha. There is absolutely no doubt that the milk of yours is indeed immortality itself. In the Saguna form, you embody this image of being a mother, but the Amrita is that of the Nirguna Tattva, of the immortality of being in moksha. Pibantau, so drinking this, who Dvirada Vadana Krauncha Dalanau. Dvirada Vadana is Ganesha. Dvirada Vadana. Dvirada is again Gaja. Gaja Vadana is Ganesha. Krauncha Dalalana, one who destroyed the Krauncha Asura, his name is Krauncha Asura. So Krauncha Dalana is Subramanya or Kartikeya. Dvirada Vadana Krauncha Dalanau, Tau, Pibantau, drinking from your nutritious milk, Amrita, Yasmat, Avidita Vadhu Sanga Rasikau. Adyapi Kumara Vevastaha iti. Even though these two people have now grown up to become young adolescents themselves, because they at once had drunk from your bosoms, Yasmat Pibantau, therefore now Adyapi Kumara, they are even till date, they are very infantile, they are Kumara Adyapi, they are still very childlike in their behavior, in their demeanor, and avidita vadhu sanga rasikau, and they have no rasa, they have no desire or curiosity, which at their age of adolescence is very natural, to hang out with the opposite gender, with the opposite sex, is it not? So vadhu sanga rasikaha is the norm. at their age of some, 13, 14, 15, in the teenage, it is, they're rasikas, they're connoisseurs, they have this desire to hang out, chill with their partners or their, uh, to whom they're attracted. But because they drank from your milk, which is so sufficient and fulfilling in itself, even some 15 years ago, still they are as good and as lively and as lovely as small kids, Kumara, pre-adolescent kids. Kumara Vadyapi. Avidita Vadhu Sangarasiko. They have now no interest, Avidita, and they have no knowledge also of uh, being in the company of the opposite gender. And in that sense, they are still Kumaras, they are still pre-adolescent kids. What does this imply? So the Amrita that comes from Devi is so powerful and so fulfilling that even gods of Ganesha and Kartikeya, because they just drank once from her Amrita, they were so fulfilled in their minds that they had no desire, even if it was a natural urge. They were able to rise above their natural instincts of basic carnal desires, like um, hanging out with the opposite gender, or having the desire for sex and other such primal desires, because Amrita itself was sufficient enough. This is a very powerful saying, which takes us back to the Bhagavad Gita, where in the second chapter, Sri Bhagavan says, विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. There, when Arjuna asked this question, how do I control my kama and krodha? He says, Vishayaha vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. The jivi or the dehi who practices niraharatva means one who practices or is very cautious and careful about what input he or she is taking into the body and mind. That is said to be the nirahara vrata. Means not just blindly accepting and consuming any which thing into our body and any which thing into our minds through the indriyas. That is the example of, that is the definition of a nirahari. So for such a person, vishayaha vinivartante, the sense objects, they run away from this person. Vishayaha vinivartante. The sense objects themselves do not come to bother a person who is very meditative and very self-aware. Because even though the person may get all these urges, because of the awareness in the body and in the mind, not any food, either food for thought or food for the body, is allowed to enter into the system. And so when they see that this dehi, this body and the mind is very impermeable, they just go away. They are repulsed and they go away, the vishaya. But rasavarjam, but the rasa, the desire for enjoying such pleasures will still remain, is what Krishna admits. That even for such a person, there will still be the suppressed desires inside, the natural urges inside, rasavarjam. Kintu raso api asya param drishtva nivartate. Even such a desire for the sensory objects outside, though it may remain, even if a person is a nirahari, param drishtva, having seen the supreme, having seen this amritatva, this great immortality, then even such small urges will be wiped away clean. Rasavarjam, rasaha api asya param drishtva nivartate. So even the internal urges will leave this person finally, but that will happen only once the soul has witnessed the param, the paratattva. So in quite resemblance to the imagery built here that Dvirada and Dhiradavadana and Krauncha Dalana, they have now no longer any desire to hang out with the opposite sex because they are completely fulfilled in themselves, and therefore because they are not hanging out with the other person for their age, people still look at them to be kumaras. They still look at them to be young kids. This is a very nice image which captures this emotion. Is there any chat?
This one ChatGPT generated one for the 71st. This one.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll just share. Okay. This is the one.
Oh, sadhu, sadhu. Ati ramyam drishyate.
Check whether it will zoom. Yeah, can zoom it. But the generating this one, I had to give instruction clearly saying, oh, it went off. I lost it. Otherwise. Okay, I can go back. Okay, yeah. I had to clearly say generate Sri Lalita Devi with 4 arms, where she is blessing 4-headed Brahma. Ensure. I had to say what not to. What how.
Okay.
After all this trial and error, ensure Sri Lalita Devi is with one hand. Again, I have to tell that don't generate 4 to 5, 3 hands. And 4 hands, and Brahma is with the 4 hands. Then it's generated.
Oh, sadhu, sadhu.
Yeah, this is one. I was also checking. I think you got another this one, like every sloka one. This one, right? One pictorial presentation of for every this one. I was also trying to see, but I think you already got.
Kutra Kim, what did I? This one you're saying?
That is for every sentence or every word, like how my by sharing that, like every word, one pictures. Soundarya lahari or Lalita Sastram, like that.
You have shared it on the group. Yeah, I saw the Mahasakti.
I get it as just now. So if I get, I'll share.
Evameva sarva, if you can generate for the, I'll also try. In the meanwhile, bhavati api prayatnam karotu. Others also can try. If you can find such images or generate such images for some shlokas of Soundarya, it's a good exercise.
Yes.
Samichinam. Kripaya tat chitram preshayatu. I will hopefully get it uploaded on the YouTube video and give credit, of course, due where it is.
This idea, of course, Bhagwan's Krupa with this technology. That's the great thing, yeah. I'll share. I was just doing it in the simultaneously. I'll share in the group, Lalita. Okay.
धन्यवादः. इदानीं विक्रमवर्येण भगवद्गीता कक्षा चर्चा स्वीक्रियते. अहं रेकार्डिङ्ग् स्टाप् करोमि. सः ओवर् टु यू विक्रमवर्य.